Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Yes, it's Ask Rob and Rob. Of course it is. And if you don't understand the concept by now, you probably need to go back to school. But for those who do get it, welcome, hello. It's another episode where you ask us questions and we give you answers. Very simple, just like the method for recording those questions, Rob.
Yep, two of them in fact. You can give us an old-fashioned phone call on 013 808 00035. That's 013 808 00035. Or you can give us a super modern question submission through your laptop by going to thepropertyhub.net/ask and recording it that way. Doesn't matter how you do it. All that matters is you do. And that is exactly what Charlotte did this week. Let's hear Charlotte's question.
Hello, Rob and Rob. My name's Charlotte Bailey, and I was wondering, I'm just getting started off in property, and I was just wondering if you can recommend any books or courses or anywhere I can learn more about adding value to property, specifically HMOs. Any books out there that you could recommend would be fantastic. Thank you very much.
Good question, Charlotte. Thank you. HMOs, always a popular topic. And that's why we produced a magazine dedicated, pretty much, the majority of it anyway, to HMOs. So if you subscribe to the Property Hub magazine, you're obviously a person of great taste. And if you don't, it must be just an error on your part that you are now going to rectify and subscribe. And once you've subscribed, you'll be able to get that back episode digitally and all the future ones through the post. But you'll be able to read tons and tons of information on HMOs. But don't worry, we'll give you a little bit more than that as well. You can read a book. There's a really good book called HMO Hero. Nice, fun, short book. Loads on systems. The author talks from experience. I really enjoyed it. Read it a long time ago now, but the lessons will be very much relevant today. So that's one to check out as well. And Rob, there's talk of adding value. We've done some resources on that too.
Yeah, if you go to the Property Hub and you look out for free courses, there is a course. It's actually about flipping, but exactly the same logic applies. So it's all about adding value, whether you keep it or you're selling it on. So we've got a few resources for you there. But when it comes to adding value, there's a definite lack of material around it compared to just standard buy-to-let. And I presume that the reason for that is, well, it'd be a very difficult book to write. It'd be quite difficult to put a course together on because it's so dependent on the individual project. And I don't know how many general lessons you could draw out from it. So it is one of those more kind of hands-on subjects. So anything that you can do to get hands-on experience, I think would teach you vastly more than anything you could pick up in a book or in a classroom. It could be that for your first one, you want to employ a project manager. And so you've got your person who's looking after the whole kind of thing, but you can watch them very closely and you can learn from them. So you're learning at the same time as doing your first project, but you've got someone there who is experienced, so you don't end up going horrendously wrong. So we've got some resources for you there. Shame there aren't more of them out there, but if you're listening and you know of any that we haven't mentioned, do of course let us know.
Well, I've got one more, Rob. Have I mentioned in the magazine? No, I won't do that again. But there are featured case studies of refurbs in pretty much every issue we do. So there is actually value when we mention it once again. But before I talk about the magazine and how wonderful it is anymore, I think it's time for our next question.
Hi, Rob and Rob. Sam Dyer here, meetup leader for Dunfermline. And I'd like to ask you, why do you never speak about Scotland on the podcasts? I'd like to know your opinions on the Scottish property market and any experience you've had investing in Scotland. And if you don't have any experience, I'd like to know why you haven't invested in Scotland so far. Cheers. Bye.
Oh, Sam's caught up with us. We were getting a hard time about this when we were speaking to all our meetup leaders recently. And we said, don't ask us now. Record it for Ask Rob and Rob. Kind of thinking that he never would, but he has. We now have to address why we don't talk about Scotland on the podcast. So, Rob, why don't we?
Well, it's because they're all drunks. No, I'm only joking. I'm only messing. It's the Christmas episode. Please don't kill me. I'm only messing. No, we obviously love Scotland. And really, it's our failings is being really honest, is why we haven't covered it in any detail. We don't have any direct experience in investing in Scotland. So, what we need to do, Rob, is commit to something for the new year that we will get an expert or experts on the Property Podcast show, and we will commit to doing an episode on Scotland and the opportunities that exist there.
I think that's a very good idea, because from all the people I've spoken to, there really are good opportunities up there. I've been speaking to a couple of people and they've told me about the yields they're getting, and wow, it's really impressive. There's lots of areas where the yields seem to be very high without having to stray into sort of very marginal kind of areas. There's also great opportunities for things like serviced accommodation in Edinburgh. I know people who are doing that. And Glasgow is still improving all the time, and I think there's lots of growth to be had there. So there's absolutely loads of opportunity. So it is something that we should be talking about more. And we should also talk about some of the differences in terms of the legal system, in terms of letting regulations. It's worth addressing. It's not like it's absolutely massive, but it's definitely worth covering. So you have shamed us successfully into action.
Well done, Sam. Your perseverance has paid off. So we will have a podcast out in the new year on Scotland. And talking of new year, Rob, it's not been a bad year at all for Ask Rob and Rob. We've ramped up the number we do every episode. Loads and loads of questions coming in every single week. It's been fun.
It's been really fun. So thank you very much to everyone who's submitted a question. It really doesn't work, this show, if you don't submit your questions. So it'd be just the audio of us twiddling our thumbs. So thank you for submitting a question. If you haven't already, make it your New Year's resolution to do so.
And even if you're just listening, thank you anyway for being a part of this. Without the listeners, again, it wouldn't be much point. So thank you very much. Next week, that Tuesday, we'll have a break between Christmas and New Year. Don't worry though, we'll still give you the main property podcast. Panic over, the main podcast will be there. We'll be back with Ask Rob and Rob in the new year with some great questions already lined up. So look forward to seeing you then. Happy Christmas, holidays, and a wonderful new year to you all.
Bye-bye.